That down, let's dive right into first topic. And the first topic today comes to us from Jon DeBenedict, who writes, "Hey there, John. I know you were a fan of the first live-action Aladdin. I wasn't as big of a fan, but I thought it was pretty decent overall, with Will Smith making the genie his own character. He really did. Anyway, so I guess it shouldn't come as a huge surprise that apparently a second film is now in the works with Guy Ritchie attached to direct once again. What do you make of this news? Good or bad idea?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, the first Aladdin came out. A lot of people had a lot of question marks about it, especially when that first picture of Will Smith as a genie came out. Some people were questioning it, but it's hard to give context when it's just a still image. At any rate, the movie was a joyous, pleasant surprise. I really adored this movie, and it made over $1 billion. It is the highest grossing film of Will Smith's illustrious career. Now, it seemed like a no-brainer that you'd then come back and do a sequel for a movie that made $1 billion. But where do you go? You're not going to do Return of Jafar. So what do you do? But it turns out it looks like they are ready to go. It's now official. They're making the second one. This comes to us from Variety. Following the massive success of last summer's reboot, Disney is developing a follow-up to the film with writers John Gatnis and Andrea Berloff. Sources say the movie is in early development, but after spending the last 6 months figuring out what direction to take the next film, producers look to have found their path. So they have found their story. They know what this movie is going to be about. And apparently one of the things it ain't going to be about, it's not going to be Return of Jafar. So they've already kind of put that out there. It's not going to be Return of Jafar. Now, there's also a couple of contradictory reports out there. Some are saying right now that the movie is going to have Guy Ritchie back to direct. Some are saying Guy Ritchie is not yet attached to direct, but it's expected that he will be. They're also expecting that Amina Massoud, Will Smith, and Power Rangers girl.
Naomi Scott,
who rocked in that movie. They say they're all expecting that all three of the main cast will return as well, which is pretty great. How do I feel about this? Well, I'll tell you what. I feel pretty damn good. And the main reason I feel pretty damn good about it is again, because not just because I thought the first movie was solid, it was fun, it captured the DNA of the original Aladdin while making it its own. Because one of my big fears going in is that Will Smith would either make Genie something completely different or that he would try to do a cheap Robin Williams impersonation. And I don't think either one of those would work. But he really found a way to honor what the Genie was while making it his own at the same time. And I really, really like that a lot. So I'm not just thinking this is a great business move, Aaron. I am thinking this is a wonderful move as a fan. I really want to see these characters back on screen again. And it sounds like the producers have found their story. They've now got the writers on to flesh it out. So I think this is great. Aaron, you hear about this. Good idea for them to do another Aladdin? Or maybe, hey, look, you struck gold with the first one. Quit while you're ahead, or how are you feeling about it?
Well, I think the key is when you strike gold, you keep digging. I mean, maybe not, it doesn't necessarily always work out, but the thing that gives me hope for this is the possibility, since you said that it is not confirmed, only by some sources, the possibility of Guy Ritchie coming back. Guy Ritchie has never struck me as the kind of director who is going to just go in for the paycheck. He seems to have a certain degree of honor about his work and could easily say, hey, I have a lot of other projects, especially with the recent success of The Gentleman. He can easily go and work on other projects. He doesn't have to do this for a paycheck. So the fact that Guy Ritchie is potentially involved, and I really like what they said, is they are putting it right out front and center. We are not doing this just because it made $1 billion. We invested some time. We invested half a year into developing a story to make sure we have a story to tell. And I'm saying this now. I'll say it again later in the show. But if you don't have a story, you don't have a movie. And so I really like the fact that they are putting it out front and center. We've invested in a story. We have a story we want to tell, and now we're ready to move forward. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it sounds really neat. Chris, I know you enjoyed Aladdin and you had a good time with it. What do you make of this news?
Oh, I'm so excited about this news because, as always, I know way too much about cartoons. And so I was like, oh, well, yeah, you skip Return of Jafar and you go straight to the Aladdin series. You can use Mosenrath, who is one of the most interesting villains that the series had. You go to King of Thieves and we explore Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and Aladdin having a dad who's still out in the world. You know, there's tons and tons of things that you can still do, even with that ending. With the Genie, you can still do a lot of things there. So I'm really, really pumped about this. I really liked the direction Guy Ritchie took it. I love this cast. Logan finally watched the movie for the first time because of Disney Plus. He didn't see it with me. No, he didn't see it with me in theaters. Because I'm like you, a lot of times I'm just like, well, it's 11 and everyone's at work. I'm going to a movie, I guess. And so he finally watched it and was just going into it like, oh, this is going to suck. I don't want to watch this movie. And he was so thrilled with it. And he's not a Disney kid like me and just couldn't get over how talented and attractive that cast was. So if you're a Disney fan or not, I feel like they really struck gold here. And of course they're going to do a sequel. I think it makes a ton of sense.
You know, I haven't seen it. So
it's so cute.
And I have a friend who's in it. Prince Anders.
Oh,
Prince
really? You know him?
He was one of our groomsmen. Billy Magnuson has been a friend of ours for many years. He and Tom started a band together. So,
oh my gosh.
Yes, he's a really good friend.
How have you not watched it?
I don't know. I did not have. There wasn't something pulling me to see it. It was kind of
one of your groomsmen was in it, and that wasn't enough.
Well, he's also in No Time to Die, and I'm like, maybe I'll see that.
I just went to the Dolby screening room to watch a movie that you were in yesterday.
You did. Well, you know what? If Billy had invited us to the premiere, then we maybe would have gone. So there you go, Billy. No, you are absolutely right. I should watch it, and I don't even know if Tom has watched it. So that is going to be Tom and I's pre-Valentine's date. You guys have turned me on.
There you go.
Turned me on to it. So
I have that effect on people.
Yes, you do, John. It is No Pens Thursdays. So we will watch it tonight, and I will give you my full thoughts on Aladdin 1. You know, I'll let you know whether it deserved $1 billion. But no, Billy's always great and everything. So
it's a good thing Anne's not here because Anne would just insist that like you and Tom come over and watch it because Anne loves this movie way more than I do.
Really?
I mean, she's crazy about this movie. And Naomi Scott, who I liked Naomi Scott before this movie, but it was in this movie that I just went, wow. Yeah. Like, because there's a scene there in the Whole New World number. It's like the kid, Amina Massoud, who they got to play Aladdin, who I thought was very good. And hey, the kid can sing, right? So you get to the song A Whole New World. Of course, that's the one, Aladdin starts singing that song, right? I can show you the world.
Yeah.
And he's singing it, it sounds good. Oh yeah, this sounds good. And then Naomi Scott starts singing her part in it, and you're like, "Oh, that's what a singer sounds like."
Oh, that's what
a real singer sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love her. Anyway, guys, question is, what do you think about this? Are you hopeful for it? Do you think maybe they should have just quit while they were ahead? Are you super excited about it? How are you feeling about it? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.